Today we have heard a presentation of the report Forced Labor and Pervasive Violations of Workers' Rights in Belarus. Sacha Koulaeva from the International Federation of Human Rights, FIDH. What are the main findings in this report?
The mission, which has been organized by the FIDH and Human Rights Center Vasna, has shown that the violations of economic and social rights in Belarus are as pervasive and widespread as political and civil rights. And basically they concern hundreds of thousands of people at some stage of life, rather as a student or as a soldier or as an obligated person or a prisoner of a camp or of the labor medical camps. Almost all Belarusian citizens on one way or another are confronted to the problem of the forced labor, which becomes an important part of the state economy.
Anton Leppik from the International Trade Union Confederation. What are the main problems from a trade union perspective in Belarus today?
Well, there are a lot of problems. Let's say first that freedom of association is not respected, not implemented in the country. There's no way how you can create in non-oppressive environment independent trade union organization. There is clear move of the government to monopolize trade union sphere with trade union movement, with trade union being under control. There's only one small organization, which is Belarusian Congress of Democratic Trade Unions, part of the ITUC family, which represents independent trade unions in the country. But of course, the people who are who stand up for their rights, for their union rights, they of course are under heavy pressure, they're being intimidated, and the most sophisticated way how the regime is harassing them is via short-term contract system that it installed, meaning that if you are not being liked, or if you do not behave in a certain way, your contract simply is not prolonged and you are out of work, and other enterprises wouldn't employ you because your characteristic from the previous employer would be bad. It means that those who dare to be members of independent trade unions in the country, they actually they put themselves at certain risk because of this. And well, basically all those who try to think independently and to stand up for their rights, they risk being repressed by this short-term contract system, which is basically a kind of serfdom system. It's in a way, it's a soft forced labor system. You cannot quit because you cannot stand up for your rights because you can face consequences related to your future employment or employment of your relatives, friends, etc.
So, according to you, how should we do to, in what ways could we act on the Lukashenko regime today to change this?
I think that the measures to improve the situation are very limited nowadays because the government of Lukashenko is not receptive at all to the international critics if it's not for the ILO sanctions or influence. However, I think that informing on the violations of economic and social rights and the forced labor elements which are widespread in Belarus is a very important part of the work which should be done, because it also concerns the private companies which work with Belarus. It also concerns the trade unions which work with Belarusian trade unions and who should know that their membership in a state trade union in Belarus is almost obligatory, and you can lose the work not only for joining the other independent trade union, but just by the decision of quitting the official one. It's a real repressive system where all the elements are put together to influence and to control the population. And these elements should be known by those who buy wood from Belarus, knowing that there is a special decree on wood cutting industry which actually forbids people to leave their jobs. For those who buy goods or buy reworked petrol from Belarus, while all the workers work under the short contract and are in a completely dependent position. So all these elements should be, first of all, known. For the moment, they are largely unknown. And there is a big part of responsibility and the work on the trade unions on the international level who have the luxury to speak freely and who should do that to help their Belarusian partners.
Anton, you have any comment on this?
Yes, I do agree with Sasha. I would say that there are several ways, and we are doing this we're doing this work. First, of course, we should continue working within the International Labour Organization, where we as trade unions have a stake, we're constituencies there, and we always raise the Belarusian question there related to freedom of association, but we indeed can have more awareness about these forced labor practices in general and in specific situations like presented in the report. I think this should be also brought in addition to freedom of association issue to the ILO agenda, because the government at least is pretending to be interested in dialogue with the ILO. The second is indeed raising awareness within the European Union, but not only, also in other countries, that indeed when a company, business is investing or trying to build partnership with Belarusian, let's name company, in fact states, let's put it like this, that they should be aware that they are in a way contributing to prolonging this serfdom system. And one more is, of course, it's trade union solidarity. We are doing this, and in terms of Belarus, I think that now it's very important to make sure that there is a consolidated trade union response to the situation in so-called customs unions, in particular in Russia, and Russian unions are doing this. They signed agreements with our affiliate, with small independent union in Belarus, with the Belarusian Congress of Democratic Trade Unions, to act together, because the approximation of legislation might be coming, and of course there is a vested interest from Russian unions not to get to the situation like in Belarus, which is, I would say, the lowest respect for labor rights, trade union rights in this customs union.
Thank you very much, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.